Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to compare two of my favorite weapons in Destiny 2 currently. The ever-reliable SHAYURA'S Wrath, and Funnelweb, a new weapon added with the Witch Queen expansion that has not left my Guardian's inventory. I really do love them both. Each one can be an exceptionally good weapon, but is one just outright better than the other? I'll answer that question right off the jump. No. Which one is better kind of boils down to playstyle and situational utility. Both are legendary Void Elemental submachine guns, but within the weapon class, these two options couldn't be more different. The better pick is ultimately going to be the weapon that works better for you. If you're like me though and on the fence as to which one that actually is, I'll do my best to test, measure, compare, contrast, and analyze each weapon in this video, so that you, well, we can make an informed decision for ourselves. We'll start out with a look at the weapon's stats, and these are the base stats that are being displayed, courtesy of light.gg. Each weapon has access to the exact same barrel and magazine attachments, so for comparison's sake, these should work just fine. Funnelweb fires at 900 rounds per minute with a base 37 rounds in the magazine. The range sits at 39 and the zoom is 14. So with no perk selected yet, it can hit for full damage from about 17 meters. But if you give it the throw everything at range treatment, it can be boosted up over 21 meters. SHAYURA'S Wrath, on the other hand, is a 600 round per minute submachine gun with a base 27 rounds in the magazine. The base range is sitting at 59 with a 16 in the zoom stat. That's putting the base damage fall off distance just over 22 meters. If we give SHAYURA'S the same treatment that we just gave Funnelweb and dump everything into range, damage fall off distance is going to be just over 27 meters. So even after the slight nerf to the zoom stat that it got this season, it is still quite rangy for an SMG. Both weapons' recoil directions are nearly perfect. Funnelweb sits at 96, SHAYURA'S at 95. For everything else, outside of handling where Funnelweb does have a 43 point advantage, they're pretty much on par with each other. There's only a 1/10 of a second discrepancy in the reload speeds in favor of Funnelweb. SHAYURA'S Wrath does have a touch more aim assist, and both weapons come in at 44 for their base stability. When we start looking at the perks, that's where we find some additional separation between the two weapons. Kind of. Because while each one does have options that the other doesn't possess, both perk columns for both weapons really do have some great options. Can you get a bad roll? Sure. But it's less likely than getting a good roll. Let's start out with Funnelweb. Subsistence Frenzy is pretty much the most popular pick. You get a few rounds refunded into the magazine on a kill, and a 15% damage buff just for staying in combat. It really is a fantastic combo. But you also have Killing Wind and Perpetual Motion in the first column, which are strong perks in their own right. In column 2, aside from Frenzy, Focused Fury, and Adrenaline Junkie, my preferred perk, are your two other damage boosting options. Also found here, Thresh, speeding up super regen. Rangefinder if you want to bump up the physical range a little bit, or Elemental Capacitor if you want a weapon stat boost based on your subclass. For SHAYURA'S, Perpetual Motion and Killing Wind overlap with Funnelweb in the first column, but we also find Dynamic Sway Reduction, Moving Target, and Hipfire Grip. All three perks passively help the weapon out on the spectrum of general consistency, granting stability, aim assist, or bullet accuracy in their own specific ways. You could also opt for Heating Up or Tunnel Vision, which do provide similar but maybe more pronounced benefits since they do require kill activation. In column 2, Adrenaline Junkie and Elemental Capacitor pop up again, but Harmony, Golden Tricorn, and the ever-exceptional Kill Clip also surface as damage boosting selections. Want the weapon to feel even more consistent? You got Tap the Trigger in column 2 as well. Need a quicker aim down sight speed? Snapshot Sights. Like I said before, a lot of great perks on both weapons. And I'm not going to call the god roll on either one of them because that's not what I do. What I do encourage everyone to do is to go to light.gg or go to d2gunsmith.com and play around with the weapon interface. Tinker with the barrel and mag attachments and see how they affect the stats. Comb through the perks, learn about each one, think about which one would fit your playstyle best. Be your own man or woman, pick your own god roll, and go get it. But before we move off the perks, we got one more thing to look at. Each of these weapons has an origin trait. Funnelweb has Vice Stinger. Damaging an enemy has a small chance of fully reloading the magazine, and increases movement speed when aiming down sights. And remember, Funnelweb is a lightweight SMG as well. Intrinsically, it does have great handling, and just having it equipped increases your movement speed. These three facets together make Funnelweb a very agile weapon, and can make you a very agile Guardian. With SHAYURA'S Wrath, its intrinsic nature of a more vertical recoil pattern is already reflected in the stat line. It does carry two origin traits with it. One Quiet Moment, a plus 40 to the reload stat when out of combat, or Alacrity, giving a plus 20 to reload, 20 to stability, 10 to aim assist, and 10 to range when you're the last living member of a fire team, or when you're playing solo. And if you do happen to have the Adept version of SHAYURA'S Wrath, you will have access to Adept mods. So these are all great additional benefits that make two solid weapons that much stronger. And with the paperwork portion of the video in order, how about some damage numbers, starting with PvE. And as always, do keep in mind,
PvE damage numbers are variable and will change depending on content scaling or enemy tier. This is why I do all of my testing in the Conflux Law sector on Nessus, to keep these damage numbers consistent and comparable from video to video.
Starting out with SHAYURA'S Wrath, we're looking at 1,654 points of damage on a crit and 1,180 on a body shot. If every shot were to land as a crit, the maximum potential damage within a single 27 round magazine would be 44,658. The time to empty I have clocked in at 2.61 seconds, so the single mag damage per second comes in at 17,110. With Funnelweb, a crit versus Carl registers 1,344 points of damage and hits for 811 to the body. That's about 23% less damage per bullet than SHAYURA'S Wrath. But with its larger 37 round magazine, the maximum potential damage on all crits is 49,728, about 11% more damage than SHAYURA'S. The time to empty is also a shade quicker, clocking in at 2.38 seconds. So, single mag damage per second, 20,894. That's 22% higher than SHAYURA'S Wrath's single mag DPS. But Funnelweb has a few other things going for it in a true single target damage scenario. The Vice Stinger trait can refill the magazine when dumping rounds into an enemy. As you can see here, it randomly procs after landing 18 bullets. The magazine jumps back up to 37, allowing me to fire 55 rounds before reloading. Now, this doesn't affect the single mag damage per second in any way. But, over the course of several reloads, if that perk continues to proc every so often, it will result in higher sustained damage per second values. And also, Funnelweb can roll Frenzy, 15% more damage just for being in combat for 12 seconds. Plus, it also provides a reload speed boost. SHAYURA'S definitely has some nice damage perks as well, offering larger buffs than Frenzy, but they're all kill activated. No ads left in the neighborhood, you're stuck at base damage. So provided that range is not an issue, Funnelweb is the superior PvE damage dealer. In PvP, Funnelweb hits for 19 points of damage on a crit and 11 points of damage to the body. This gives it an optimal time to kill of 0.67 seconds with 9 crits and 2 body shots, and a body shot time to kill of 1.13 seconds with 18 shots landed. SHAYURA'S Wrath will see 23 points of damage on a crit and 16 to the body. This puts its optimal time to kill at 0.8 seconds with 7 crits and 2 body shots, and a body shot time to kill of 1.1 seconds with 12 shots landed. So just on paper, Funnelweb is the more efficient killer inside of its optimal range. Remember, your average Funnelweb is probably going to see damage fall off somewhere between that 18 to 19 meter mark, with SHAYURA'S probably right around 25 meters. So definitely factor in engagement ranges when thinking about which weapon would fit better into your playstyle. And adversely to PvE, in PvP, I think SHAYURA'S has the better damage boosting perk in Kill Clip. An immediate 33% damage boost upon reloading after securing a kill with the weapon. Crits jump up to 30, body shots go to 22. Optimal time to kill drops down to 0.6 seconds with 6 crits and 1 body shot. Body shot time to kill goes to 0.8 with 9 shots landed. Kill Clip is a very potent and practical damage buff, and in my opinion, the best one offered on either weapon for this side of the game. So, two weapons with comparable stats, both have their fair share of solid perks. Funnelweb is a close-range PvP powerhouse, while SHAYURA'S, being a Trials weapon, definitely feels more custom-tailored for PvP. If we're keeping score, each weapon's 1, 0, and 2. But the deciding factor for me lies in the performance, and how well one weapon performs in the other weapon's lane. And I gotta say, I think that SHAYURA'S is the one that crosses over a bit better. And a major factor in me saying that ties back to the engagement range. In lower level PvE content, it's really a non-factor. But in higher level content, where enemies are more lethal and can eat more bullets before going down, having a weapon that can stretch out a bit further gives me a lot of peace of mind. Funnelweb, while it can pour on the damage and provides the mobility boost to survive while playing in tight, you gotta keep your head on a swivel and be very aware of your surroundings, since picking away at enemies from medium range is not what the weapon is built for. In PvP, I think Funnelweb's a very capable weapon, and one that may deserve a bit more credit than it gets on that side of the game. Using this weapon just brings back Recluse vibes, even though Funnelweb's not as brokenly overpowered as it was in its day. But still, for a highly mobile, aggressive player with good situational awareness, Funnelweb will sit enemy players down in a hurry. That physical range, though, ultimately limits engagement options. That approximate 8 meter range discrepancy between the two weapons feels like a mile to me in the Crucible. I'm always more confident playing a larger chunk of the map when SHAYURA'S is in my hands. While when I'm using Funnelweb, there are definitely lanes and sight lines that I do try to avoid. Plus, the extra range from SHAYURA'S allows it to perform outside of the reach of other close range options, like sidearms, shotguns, slug shotties, rapid fire fusions, less rangy SMGs. So long story short, for PvP and PvE, I'm more comfortable playing with SHAYURA'S at closer range than I am using Funnelweb at further ranges. Another factor, I do play solo a lot of the time, in PvE specifically. I really like running dungeons by myself. I try to one-man higher level Nightfalls, and even though I don't have much reason to do it anymore, I really enjoy engaging with Legend and Master Tier Lost sectors. Point in me saying this, I've grown very fond of Alacrity on SHAYURA'S Wrath. Not only can the weapon perform at 25 plus meters, the myriad of benefits from the origin trait makes it feel really good from 25 plus meters. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Vice Stinger on Funnelweb, but given the manner in which I consume content, Alacrity can be up and working full time with a very tangible performance boost. So if I had to call a winner here, I'd say SHAYURA'S by a nose. But in the end, it comes down to personal preference. I am not a shepherd to the sheep. Just someone offering up a bit of perspective and information so that you can make an informed decision for yourself. But if you did enjoy this video, like, subscribe, share it with some friends. All are great ways of supporting the content and the Ironworker Gaming channel. If you have anything to add, or you'd like to respectfully voice your opinion on which weapon you prefer, leave it down in the comments. I'm always interested to hear the community's take on things. But with all that being said, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this weapon comparison. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.